Are you looking for unrivaled power as you traverse the lands of Lordran? Well, look no further, as we dive into the top 10 overpowered weapons in Dark Souls. Plus, right at the end I have one bonus weapon that I just couldn't justify keeping off this list. Number 10. Carved from the bones of fellow demons and wielded by the Taurus demon, the demon's Greataxe has the potential to be the strongest weapon in Dark Souls. It has a base physical damage output of 114 and once fully upgraded will do a whopping 285 physical damage. This Greataxe is perfect for strength builds. It requires 46 levels in strength to one-hand it and also starts off with an A scaling in the strength stat, which will then increase to an S scaling once fully upgraded. But if that amount of damage isn't enough for you, if you fully max out your strength stat to 99, then the demon's Greataxe will unleash a staggering 712 physical damage per hit. The demon's Greataxe is a rare drop from both the Taurus demon boss in the Undead Burg and also the lesser Taurus demons located around the demon ruins. It is much easier to buy the demon's Greataxe from Shiva of the East for 10,000 souls. Number 9. Formed by a Drake's tail, the Drake Sword has some serious physical damage output that can be obtained very early in the game, and will easily dispatch any enemy it comes into contact with. Starting off with a base physical damage output of 200, this is the highest base damage of any weapon that you have a guaranteed chance to obtain during the start of the game. Once fully upgraded, the Drake Sword will deal 300 physical damage, and unfortunately, that's as far as this weapon will go, as the Drake Sword does not scale with any of your stats. To upgrade the Drake Sword, you will need to obtain and use 10 Dragon Scales, and very coincidentally, the game only has 10 guaranteed Dragon Scales to collect throughout Lordran. But if you are lucky enough, there is a 5% chance they will drop from the Drakes in the Valley of the Drakes, and also they can be dropped by Vagrants. The Drake Sword can only be obtained by cutting off the tail of the Hellkite Wyvern located on the bridge in the Undead Burg. You can do this by either fighting him normally or by shooting arrows at his tail from below the bridge. Check out my video in the top right of the screen for more info on how to do this. The Drake Sword requires 16 levels in strength and 10 levels in dexterity to wield. Number 8. One of the gigantic straight greatswords, the Zweihander deals high damage and is super effective at staggering your enemies. With a base physical damage of 130, going up to 325 when fully upgraded, this weapon is a solid choice for overpowering your enemies from the start to the finish of the game. As it scales with both strength and dexterity, if you were to max out both stats to level 99, the Zweihander when fully upgraded will deal 660 physical damage. To add to all this insane damage, the Zweihander can be found within minutes of entering Firelink Shrine, as it is located in front of the large tombstone at the furthest end of the graveyard. The Zweihander is a solid choice for a strength/dex build, as it only requires 24 levels in strength and 10 levels in dexterity. Number 7. The Black Knights are a formidable foe that wander the lands of Lordran, and this almighty enemy wields 4 of the most OP weapons in the lands. First off is the Black Knight Greatsword, and while it is one of the slower greatswords in Dark Souls, it does have one of the highest base physical damage outputs, especially for an early game weapon, boasting 220 physical damage. This can then be fully upgraded to deal out 330 physical damage, but to do this, you will need to obtain 10 Twinkling Titanites and 10,000 souls. Unfortunately, like all the Black Knight weapons, there is only a 20% drop rate, so obtaining this weapon from the Black Knight in the Undead Parish is unlikely, especially as it doesn't respawn. However, later in the game at the Kiln of the First Flame, you will have the chance to obtain this again, as there is a respawning group of Black Knights to face. If you were to level strength to 98 and dexterity to 87, this weapon caps at a huge 642 physical damage output. To wield the Black Knight Greatsword, you will need 32 levels in strength stat and 18 levels in dexterity. Number 6. The Black Knight Sword has a much faster moveset than its counterpart, the Black Knight Greatsword. And as both weapons have a base physical damage output of 220, and when fully upgraded, 330 physical damage output, the Black Knight Sword would be a better choice for those preferring a quicker, lighter weapon. Also, unlike the Black Knight Greatsword, which can only be obtained by 2 Black Knights, there are 4 Black Knights throughout Lordran that wield this smaller beast, making your odds of obtaining it that much higher. To reach this weapon's top potential, you will need to level up strength to 98 and dexterity to 99, which will then cause this weapon to deal 544 physical damage. This lower damage output compared to the Greatsword is due to it only having a C scaling in strength, compared to the Greatsword's B scaling. As with all Black Knight weapons, you will need to obtain 10 Twinkling Titanite and 10,000 souls in order to fully upgrade it. The Black Knight Sword requires 20 levels in strength and 18 levels in dexterity to wield. Before we move on to the next one, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell to make sure you don't miss out on even more Dark Souls content. Number 5. The next Black Knight weapon is the Black Knight Greataxe, and this has the second highest base physical damage output of all the Black Knight weapons, starting off with a hefty 229 physical damage. Once fully upgraded, the Black Knight Greataxe deals 343 physical damage, again, much higher than its sword counterparts. To max out this weapon's physical damage, you will need to have 99 levels in strength and 88 levels in dexterity, taking this Greataxe up to a devilishly 666 physical damage output. As per the Greatsword, there are only 2 Black Knights that you can obtain this weapon from, one in the Catacombs that doesn't respawn, and a respawning Black Knight in the Kiln of the First Flame. To wield the Black Knight Greataxe, you will need 36 levels in strength and 18 levels in dexterity. Number 4. And now for the top dog of the Black Knight weapons, and my personal favourite is the Black Knight Halberd. It starts off with a chunky 245 base physical damage output, and once upgraded will dish out 367 physical damage, making the Black Knight Halberd the highest physical damage output from start to finish with all the Black Knight weapons. Unfortunately, as the Halberd only has a D scaling in strength and an E scaling in dexterity, even if you level up your strength to 98 and dexterity to 92, the maximum potential of the Black Knight Halberd is 536 physical damage output, making it the lowest damage output once fully maxed. The Black Knight Halberd can be obtained relatively early in the game, from the Black Knight located at the bottom of Darkroot Basin, near to where the Grasscrest Shield is located. But as with the other Black Knights, this only has a 20% chance drop and will not respawn. There is an additional Black Knight that wields a Halberd in the Kiln of the First Flame that will respawn, so it can be farmed if needed. To wield the Black Knight Halberd, you will need 32 levels in strength and 18 levels in dexterity. And again, as with all the Black Knight weapons, you will need to obtain 10 Twinkling Titanite and 10,000 souls. Number 3. Created from an everlasting dragon tooth, the legendary hammer of Havel the Rock is a behemoth of a great hammer and will work perfectly with any strength build. Dealing a honker-chunking 290 base physical damage, and when fully upgraded it will pummel 435 physical damage to your enemies. This is the 3rd highest damage output weapon on my list. The Dragon Tooth can be obtained just after the midpoint of the game from a chest in the dark room hidden behind a fireplace in Anor Londo. As with other dragon weapons, it will cost 50,000 souls and 10 dragon scales to unleash its high damage. If you want to fully unleash the full potential of this weapon, then level your strength stat to 98 and you will be able to deliver 617 physical damage with each swing of this great hammer. The Dragon Tooth requires 40 levels in your strength stat to one hand, but has an added bonus of 999 durability, making it one of the strongest weapons in the game. Number 2. The penultimate spot on my list goes to the Dragon King Greataxe. It requires 50 levels in strength and 8 levels in dexterity to wield. This Greataxe deals a whopping 380 base physical damage, which is a higher damage output than the first 7 weapons on this video once they're fully upgraded. When you then fully upgrade the Dragon King Greataxe, it will decimate your foes by dealing a staggering 570 physical damage. Unfortunately though, while this weapon has the highest physical damage when upgraded of all weapons in Dark Souls, it is capped in damage once upgraded, as it has no stat scaling. The Dragon King Greataxe can be obtained by cutting off the tail of the Gaping Dragon down in the depths. To fully upgrade it, it will cost 10,000 souls and 10 dragon scales. When held in 2 hands and a heavy attack is used, it will unleash a 360-degree shockwave almost identical to the Wrath of the Gods Miracle, but this will use up 50 durability. Number 1. And finally, in the top spot for the most overpowered weapon in Dark Souls is forged from the soul of Executioner Smoughs. Smoughs Hammer has the highest strength stat requirement of any weapon in Dark Souls, requiring 58 levels in strength. It has a base physical damage output of 300, and when fully upgraded will smash 450 physical damage into any foe. In order to obtain Smoughs Hammer, you will need to take any +10 hammer or great hammer to the giant blacksmith and ascend it with the soul of Smough. To then fully upgrade it, you will need to spend 25,000 souls and 10 demon titanites. If 450 damage isn't enough for you, then with a descaling in strength, if you level up strength to 99, it will soar this physical damage output to a blinding 675. In addition to Smoughs Hammer dealing an insane amount of damage, this great hammer will also heal 10 HP for every successful hit, which, while may not seem like a lot, is always a nice added bonus. Special bonus! In addition to the 10 previous weapons, I couldn't exactly skip out the weapon that does the second highest damage when fully upgraded and scaled up. That's right, my special recognition award goes to the Demon Great Machete. It has a base physical damage output of 133, which is one of the lowest on this list, but when if fully upgraded, it does an admirable 332, putting it in the same league as some of the Black Knight weapons. However, where this weapon really shines is when you go balls to the wall and level up strength, as this weapon has a B scaling that goes to an A scaling once it is +11. If you then level your strength stat to 99, the Demon Great Machete will dish out 691 physical damage. In order to obtain this deadly weapon, you will need to either get very lucky with the Capra Demon in the lower Undead Burg, or with the minor Capra Demons in the Demon Ruins, which does have a 5% drop rate. Alternatively though, you can purchase it from Shiva of the East for 10,000 souls. And for now, that's it. You now have the top 10 or 11 OP physical damage weapons in Dark Souls ready at your fingertips. Let me know in the comment section below which one is your favourite, or if you have a different weapon that you prefer, let me know. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more Dark Souls content.